What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Ready to Love. This is Season 8, Episode 3, and you already know that we are in Dallas. So let's go ahead and get right into the episode. So the men have the control this week, right? And according to Tommy, he is in charge of the dates. So now we are calling this episode basically Tommy's Choice, and it will all be blind dates. So now the first date we see, y'all, is Marvin, right? He gets there, he brings flowers. Now I have to point this out because that's a first. Like, I feel like these men on this show, they show up empty-handed 95% of the time. They only bring flowers to the women once we get to like the last episode. So I said, okay, Marvin trying to start off strong. His date is Tequila. Now, girl, I thought you were supposed to be going home. Because remember, you said, if Habibi goes home, send me home too. Remember? That was you, girl. So at some point, she felt like Marvin had ignored her. Now, y'all, when did that happen? Because we didn't see. So, please refresh our memories. In this date, it looks like they are having a lot of fun. They're laughing with each other, but he's not sure if it's a romantic connection yet. Like, if I'm being honest, you guys, I just feel like none of the guys are really feeling Tequila, but we gonna roll with this. Next, we see Chris, and he is actually meeting with a new person on the show. You know that they love to throw in new people late in the game. So we meet a young woman by the name of Katarina. She has 3 degrees, y'all. She's a nurse. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Because her title did say registered nurse. We're going to talk a little bit later about how I don't even know if she's still a nurse. But she looks great. She clearly has her head on her shoulders. She loves to travel. Like, she seemed like she was very easygoing. And I feel like her and Chris were really vibing. Like, they looked really cute together. They were laughing a lot. Their little date was cute. So now we get on to Janelle. She is meeting with a new guy by the name of Christopher. Now, I can't lie, I gave a side eye to this because I'm like, Janelle already has enough men on her roster. She really does. But okay, Tommy. So, this man is not ugly. Christopher is not ugly at all. I just think that he would look a lot better with the haircut. Like, I know that a lot of black men right now are just growing their hair out. You know, they're wearing it all wild. However, some men, to me, just look better with a nice haircut. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But nonetheless, they are making pizzas together, and we learned that, number one, Janelle has been engaged before, and come to find out, these two went to the same high school. It's just that they did not go at the same time, because I believe she has like some years on him. Like, she's older than him for sure. Their date, it was cool or whatever. Now we have another date, y'all. This time it's sort of kind of a group. Actually, it was just 3 people. We have Phil, right? He gets there. He don't know who gonna show up. And next thing you know, it's Tequila. I'm sorry, but Tommy, why are we setting up people on multiple dates? Or should I say, why is the show already showing certain people have multiple dates within the week versus some people seem like they barely got any camera time? But nonetheless, Tequila's there, and her and Phil already have their issues because, as we all know, they had the conversation previously where she was asking him all these questions about, like, you know, his sex life, and then was judging him on whatever he discussed and didn't say nothing about her own. So they already have their issue. Cool. Next thing you know, Sierra shows up. Now, keep in mind, Tequila and Phil were trying to, you know, be cordial in the conversation. You can definitely tell that Phil, he does have an interest in Sierra. But I'm going to be honest, y'all, I'm not seeing it for Phil. Nothing about Phil is interesting to me. He just seems like such a boring man. So within the conversation, we have Ciara talking about how, she wants to have kids, as many kids as she can possibly afford. We also learn about Phil not wanting to date any woman that's too young because he feels like there are too many differences between the generations. For example, on social media, baby, don't expect for Phil to post you, because that's not what he's going to do. So we see Tequila, she mentions that, she's willing to try and see where things may possibly go with Phil, even though she thinks that he's holding a grudge. I'm like, girl, this man just ain't interested in you. That's one thing that I need Tequila to learn, is that everybody ain't going to be interested in you, and they're not going to give you a shot. It's very clear and evident within this whole process. Now let's go ahead and move on, because we have another group date to talk about. We have Red and Herbert at first, right? They meet up with Aries, Lee, and Unique. Baby, next thing you know, Christopher shows up, the new guy. I'm like, of course he has to make his rounds. So, first things first, we see Unique. She has a conversation with Christopher. We learn that they are both country people at heart, even though they are in the city. We also learn a little bit more about Unique. And she basically has been married before, and now she is a no-nonsense person. I have no idea what her ex-husband may have been like, but it is very clear that she probably had to rebuild herself up after that relationship, and now she's not playing any games. She's not letting men waste her time, and that's where she's at with it. Now, of course, we see a couple of other people couple off and have conversations. They seem to be vibing or whatever. But honestly, I don't see nothing coming out of any of those people that met up on this date. Now, we do see Unique have a conversation with Herbert, though, where she feels like Herbert is creating a safe space for her. And she talks about her past. And she's telling him all these things. But the only thing that's running through his mind is that maybe she needs a little bit more time to heal, because he feels like she's not over the things of her past. And I'm like, I wouldn't exactly say that. I think that sometimes people come on these shows and they're letting people know, like, this is what I've come from. So moving forward, I don't want to repeat that same cycle. I think that's where she was trying to come from. But he said, baby girl, you need to go heal somewhere. So that was that date. It was cute enough. Let's slide on over to Marie, because I said, where has he been? It's episode 3. I guess we finally get to see him on a date, see how he interacts with the women. So it's him and who else was there? Marvin and Phil. And then we saw Kira, Jessica, and the new girl, Kat. That's who showed up. So first of all, you can tell, like, low-key, Kira was trying to give that mean girl energy to Kat, and I ain't like that. That's number one. Then they start coupling off, right? And you have Kat and Marvin, they link up. She quickly learns that this man is an erotic author. And we learn that she was a nurse, but now she owns a beauty bar. Ready to Love. Excuse me, Ready to Love. Where were y'all gonna tell us that? Because in her whole little video montage, it's her in her little nurse outfit and all of this stuff. Y'all have sold us this idea that she is a registered nurse. I think that's even in her title. When her name pops up on the screen, it literally says registered nurse. Or am I crazy? It has nothing to do with her being a business owner. And also, she said that her beauty bar was in Arizona. And I'm just like, wait a second. What do you mean you have a beauty bar in Arizona? We're on Ready to Love Dallas. Do you even live here? Like, I have so many questions now, but I feel like they're not going to get answered. So let's go ahead and move on to Jessica. Her and Marie, they have a conversation, and you already know that he is feeling her, okay? He definitely has his eyes on Jessica, and she seems to be into him a little bit. Because, she asks him about his past relationship, and we learned that his ex was basically going back and forth between him and her ex back in the day, and now they are just co-parenting because she ended up getting pregnant in between that time. So it sounded like it could have possibly been a messy situation of them having to wait and find out who the baby daddy was and all types of foolishness. So now they just co-parent. I will say that they did have a few things in common, Jessica and Marie, because they both want to have these families and raise kids. They're all into that. Cute for them. Let's slide on over to Marvin and Kira talking, because Marvin, he has this whole idea of him moving back home to the Virgin Islands and, living on the island, that whole island life, all of this stuff. And Kira is like, slow your roll, buddy, because I don't even think I want that same life as you. And honestly, I just don't even see it for Kira and Marvin. I don't see them being a thing. Like, I don't see her being the type to be into all of his, like, BDSM type stuff. She just don't seem like that type of girl. But I could be wrong. Next, we actually have Phil have a conversation with Kat. Now, he seems to be interested in her, but I completely skipped over whatever that conversation was because he just seems so boring to me. Like, hella boring. Especially once he was talking about how, like, because I haven't traveled out of the country, but I need somebody to give me that push. Sir, just go home. Y'all, we get to the men's lounge. Now, I realize that we did not see Quentin at all. We did not see Quentin have not a one date on this episode. And it's crazy because a lot of the guys, we saw them on multiple dates. But nonetheless, we have the guys talk about who they're feeling. Now we have Quentin, Red, and Christopher. They are all feeling Janelle. Chris, he says that he's feeling Kat. I like Chris and Kat. They looked really cute together to me. Marvin and Phil, they are saying that they are feeling Kat as well. And I'm like, Phil, I don't see it for you. I think you're too old for her. Marvin, no, I don't see you for Kat either. We move on to Marie. Marie is feeling Jessica, and Herbert likes Lee. Now let's talk about who they ain't feeling. We already knew the first person who was going to be mentioned was Tequila. Like, girl, I just knew they was going to say your name, because I feel like Tequila has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and also they're just not interested in her. There is something about her that they are not feeling this season. First things first, you already know Phil wants no parts of Tequila at all. And then we find out that she was yapping on the phone with Chris because she was upset about one of the guys. He was like talking to everybody else but her. And I'm like, why aren't you on the phone focusing on the man that you got on the phone line, baby girl? There's no way I'm going to be in this process. And it is, 8, 9 men or whatever who I have options for. And I'm talking to one of my options, being like, oh my gosh, can you believe so-and-so? He talking to every other girl but me. Girl, why are you venting like that? Get to know Chris on the phone. Chris, what's up with you today? You want to go out? Like, that should be the conversation. That should be the energy that you're giving this. But no, she focused on somebody else. Now, here's the thing. Again, Tequila, everybody ain't for everybody. Girl, everybody doesn't have to like you. If there's a man who is deciding that he's going to, spend his time focusing on these 3 women over here, and it don't include you, baby, that's okay. Find the guy that's here for you. Come to find out, y'all, Marie, he chimes in and basically said that she came to him like, word on the street is you're making connections with all these other women. So good luck on your journey. And I'm just like, Tequila, you can't control what connections these men make. They're not going to solely focus on you unless they let you know that moving forward, they want to solely focus on you. Like, I think that is so crazy that every season we see at least 1 or 2 ladies who get so wrapped up in this idea of how dare this man get to know multiple women. Wasn't that the premise of the show? Didn't Tommy tell y'all to get to know one another? So yes, some of them may be stretching themselves thin by trying to get to know every single woman. And then some people, they kind of know, I'm only going to focus on 2 women. Or whatever their situation is. I feel like the problem with Tequila is that the men just don't like her. And she's trying to squeeze in to see where she fits. And she ain't fitting. Like, it just is what it is. I just don't think that her match is here. Like, they were never here. So, next thing you know, Marvin, he says that he heard that Tequila felt like, she had got snubbed by him. And he's like, she felt that way. Or at least I heard that that's how she felt. But when we were on the date, it was a good date. Like, she was acting different as if everything was all good. So, next thing you know, y'all, Quentin, he says that he ain't feeling Kira. Now, that reminded me that she was the one who said that she thinks that he likes white girls. Now, this makes me wonder what type of conversations has Quentin and Kira had. Because for her to say, I think that he likes white girls, and, I'm just so white adjacent that I should basically be his top pick, but he ain't going for me. And for her to say that in the ladies' lounge, and then for him to come back the following week to be like, I'm not feeling Kira, I wonder if someone has told Quentin that Kira basically told the other ladies that she thinks that he only likes white women, or if they've had some type of conversation and things went sour. That's what I'm wondering. Because if the things went sour on a conversation, I wish that we could have seen it. But, we shall see if that ever, comes up in conversation. So, now let's go ahead and get on to Red. When I tell y'all, Red did not have to do that whole head wobbling and body bouncing that he was doing just so he could say he wasn't feeling unique. Like, when I tell you he was so ready to throw her name out there because she called his job a thought job, like, I still want to ask her if she thinks that Tommy's job is a thought job. Because we all know him for being on the radio, and we know him for being a comedian. So, let's move on to Christopher and Herbert. They don't see it for Unique either. And we see that Maurier, he meets with Unique, and Quentin meets with Tequila because it's time for the elimination. I really don't have any interest in the conversations that they were trying to have. Like, they were really out here acting like this was a date. And I'm just like, get to the elimination, please. So, we get both of the ladies, hearing what the guys talked about in the lounge. Was I the only one that caught the fact that both of the ladies were like, I'm like, is this like a thing that they're doing in editing, or did both of the ladies do that on that date? Very strange. So, of course, we already know they kept Unique for another week, and Tequila, baby girl, you gotta go. Now, maybe she can go call her BB, and they can ride off into the sunset. Y'all, that was the episode. I feel like this episode wasn't, too drama-filled. It was whatever. Hopefully next week is better. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what y'all think about Ready to Love Dallas so far. I'll talk to y'all in the next video. Bye, guys.